Yo,
Yo, yo, yo.
it's 11:07. We uh we got the next episode conversation with Elijah Thrill. All the way from Sydney, Australia. It's like what, like 1:45, 1:47 right now.
Yeah, man. Literally.
Man, I really do appreciate you for coming on, man. Because like the time disparity is just like it's crazy. Like it's like 9:47 in the AM here, and it's 1:47 in the AM over there.
Man.
So for like y'all gotta realize this man really took time out of his night or out of his morning, out away from his sleep to get on this interview, and like we really appreciate that, bro.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me, bro. For real. Like when you guys hit me up and were like, man, we want you on the next episode. I was like, what? That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like no one's asked me that before, so I appreciate you guys for having me. For real.
Oh, so this is like your first interview?
This is my first interview. Like, I mean, at least like this. Like I've done I had like a few write-ups.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is my first interview, so super excited.
I feel that. Like prior to us like talking like and getting set up for like the interview, we were kind of like doing a vibe check with each other, and like I was seeing the vibes in your room, and it's like you got the blue lights and you got like the wiring, lampshade, and
yeah.
I want to know like is that usually the vibe in your studio, or do you usually have like a certain light that you like to have?
Bruh, if I'm being completely honest, like the blue just is like the darkest color. Like literally, I just like being in a dark room, but not too dark. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
that makes sense.
Yeah, man. Like it just depends what. I guess if I'm creating a song, I like to create with color. Like what song or what art piece, like whatever, it doesn't have to even be music. Like what color am I trying to represent, I guess?
Yeah, no, I feel that, and like it's kind of ironic how blue was the theme or like the cover color for like Attention.
Yeah.
Which is his newest single, which I will say is quite the vibe, honestly. That was like a really solid single that you released, bro. Like you were telling me that you were sitting on it for like 2 years.
Yeah, literally. I made that in 2019, and I just really liked. I don't know if you ever heard like the vaporwave type of style of music. So they get like
a little bit. I'm not too familiar.
Yeah, they get like 80s songs, and they basically just like slow and reverb it. And I was like, man, I really like that. So how can I translate that into something modern without having to stretch it and make it slow and reverb, but just make it an actual track, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it was like a nice balance between like the really solid production, like the vaporwave production, and just like the soul that you put on the track. Did you produce the track, or did you just find the beat?
No, I produced it, man. Literally.
I was gonna actually ask about like your background, because I know you're an artist primarily, but I was kind of going through like your SoundCloud, and there was like some songs where it was just like production only.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to know like what's like your musical background.
So I guess my musical background, I think I've always grown up with a lot of music. Coming from, I mean, being in like a Polynesian home, there's just always music, always singing, church, you know what I mean, choir, all of this and that.
Oh, you're Polynesian?
Yeah, man. So I guess that's always been just running through my blood, but actually starting to make music is when I moved to Australia. I seen some of my friends in music class that were like making like EDM. I had no idea what that was. I was like, what? Like you make your own music? You know what I mean? So I kind of like asked them to teach me. They taught me little things, like a little bit of things, but I didn't want to make EDM, you know what I mean? I wanted to make what I wanted to make at the time, which was like lo-fi. It was when I was watching a lot of anime. I was just like kind of learning who I was. So I started off with lo-fi. I would say when lo-fi, just before it became very popular, You know what I mean? A lot of people listen to it. The sleep, lo-fi mixes, the homework mixes. I think
Yeah, like the lo-fi study music.
Man, you must listen to them all the time.
Yeah, it's like it's definitely like the soundtrack for like a lot of my like study sessions, like when I'm in school.
Mm-hmm.
But like for you, like you started like when like it was really like kicking off, I guess, or like before it got popular.
Yeah. Before it just became like everyone knows lo-fi now. You know what I mean? Everyone knows the lo-fi girl. Everyone knows all of those playlists that are just on 24/7. So before that, I was just very interested in like sampling and that came from, I guess, studying Jay Dilla. Bro, shout out Jay Dilla,
Shout
man.
out to a legend.
Legendary, man.
For real. Like honestly, like he's like the founding father, goddamn.
Bro, literally, man. Like seeing just the way that he, I guess, would chop up samples. I'm like, what? And his drums, and I was like, man, this guy's crazy. So I guess just like taking influence from that at the time. And at the time, I was using like GarageBand. I was using whatever sounds that they would provide. I wouldn't even, I don't know anything about drum kits. Like you can download them or buy them. I don't know anything about that. I like sampled like a few things just on my mic, like making sounds with like glass or something like that. You know what I mean? But I never really actually.
Oh dang! So you were really on like that DIY.
Yeah,
like,
man. I literally
creation.
didn't. I was just like experimenting everything at that time.
Yo, that's actually pretty interesting because it's like, so you like any sound like you would that just like appeal to you, like maybe like the refrigerator closing or the door opening, like you would just record it.
Bro, I actually have a funny story. Yeah. In my old place, our fridge like was broken, so it would make like a rumble sound. And I'd always hear it, and I was like, what if I made that into an 808?
Don't tell me you made that to 808.
I made it to 808, bro. And I was like, I had to do it, man. I had to do it.
That's intuitive right there. So was it just strictly drums that you were making sounds, or would you go into like synths as well? Or
I tried to, because I liked like I started listening to, when I was making music, like Soul Action, Majestic Casual, if you heard of them.
Yeah.
And like I just loved, like they had like EDM, but for my knowledge at the time, I was like, this is like chill EDM. You know what I mean? Like this is kind of like what I would.
Yeah, it was like a soulful EDM kind of like, it's just like, I don't know.
And I was like, this is amazing. So bro, I like to think that I was, but I honestly, if I was to listen back, I'll probably be like, wow, this is so trash.
I don't know, man. You know, perception is a crazy thing. Because I would honestly, later you gotta show me like some of your older stuff, but I can kind of see how like that's kind of carried over to like your music today, because it's like there's a bit of like a grit, but like a polished like grit and like a lot of soul to it.
Man, I
like,
appreciate that.
I don't know. It's kind of like especially like when I go on SoundCloud, like, you know, I listen to Attention, but then I listen to like Let Me Know, and then I listen to Body Ain't Me, and you know, I'm just like, damn, like this dude's like a hidden gem, like, because you really fit just like the whole wave of SoundCloud music, like, right. Because the way I think of like your music is like, it's just like the creativity and just like the liberty just to make like what you want, and you just kind of like carving like your own like vibe. Like it's not like a cookie cutter discography. Like it's just very like new and like just, I don't know, like it makes me wonder like what more you got. And also I was kind of bummed because it's like, I feel like, did you delete a lot of music from your SoundCloud? Or
I deleted a lot of music, bro. Like my SoundCloud is an OG account from when I first started, so I've had plenty of names, plenty of I guess when I was younger, personas, you know what I mean, alter egos, and making different, you know, having a producer name and blah blah blah. So many tracks, so many different vibes. Bro, how did you even know that?
It's just because, like, okay, the thing is, like, I know, like, Lorenzo found you, right? But, like, yeah. I just recently started, like, listening to you. And by the way, Lorenzo is the head of 1107. Shout out to Lorenzo. Shout out. And it's just, like, so many songs, like, I was just listening. I was like, there's no way this man just put out, like, 5 songs. Like, there's no way. Like, you got one song that's, like, 5 years old, and you got one song that's, like, 1 year old, 2 years old. Like, this man must have, like just erased everything from his SoundCloud.
Yeah, for real. Like, if I kept everything on, it would be everywhere. Like, for real. And it's crazy because, like, sometimes I go back to my older stuff. If I'm going through my hard drive trying to look for, like, say I got like a drum kit on my hard drive that I don't have on my laptop, I'll be going, I'll be trying to look for that specifically. And I'll come across my old music and I was like, what? And then I'll listen to it and I'm like, man, like, it's, I don't know, like, how do I put this? It's like, it's until you listen to your old stuff and you see your growth, you know what I mean? Like, in the moment when you're making music or whatever medium of art that you do, you don't really, like, sometimes you may not see the growth, you know, if you don't have stats in front of you, you know what I mean? If you don't have stats in front of you, being an artist in this day and age, it's like, man, am I getting better, or, you know what I mean? So when I listen to my old stuff, I'm like, wow, there's definitely been a lot of growth and a lot of transition. So yeah, man, like, that's crazy that you brought that up. For real.
Do you feel like you're, I don't know, were you ever like, or are you still kind of in the perfectionist mode? I don't know if you are, but the thing is, like, you told me, like, you were holding, like, on the attention for, like, 2 years, or sitting on it for 2 years. Was it just like you were sitting on it for 2 years because you didn't like it, or was it just like you kind of forgot about it because you were just making so much music? Like, tell me about that kind of process.
So after I made the song, I really liked it, and I knew I wanted to put it somewhere. Like, and I know I wanted to do something with it. I just didn't know what. I sat on it for so long. And honestly, like, that song was just gonna be like because, like, for me, like, when I make music, especially if it's for a certain time, I put like an expiry date on it. You know what I mean? Like, I got songs in 2017 that I wanted to drop at the time, but I wouldn't drop now because it kind of just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? So I kind of just leave it. Not as I'm like just keeping all my music in the vault. Like, I'm not trying to do that. It's more so just like, it's not me right now, you know what I mean? Like, if I released it at the time, I would have left it up, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't release it now. But with attention, it still had the kind of vibe that I'm making right now, you know? And I was like, you know what? I need to put something out. I'm going to put this one out, you know what I mean? Just like, take a chance on it and see what happens. And, you know, like, we're 1 week in and I'm just like, man, the love has been crazy.
And I was like also loving the visuals you had along with it that you posted on your IG. Like, man, that was a vibe too in itself. Like, combined with like the new single, bro. Like, where'd you find that the artist?
I was linked to the artist from a producer that I knew. He linked me to him, and I was like, I really want his craft to be a part of my song, because I feel like, you know, he can really just get creative with it. So I kind of like pitched my idea and just let him just take control of it.
Okay. And going from there, prior to us talking, you were saying that you grew up on Studio Ghibli. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but like, like shows like Spirited Away, like just all the early animations, like growing up. Like, can you kind of talk about that a bit?
I think Studio Ghibli is like definitely a massive inspiration for me because I don't know what about it that captured my attention, because it's not like, how like we would have grown up on Dragon Ball Z, Naruto,
Yeah.
all these crazy like fighting ones, you know what I mean? And it's like, bro, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like being someone that grew up in that era, you're like, man, like this is what I watch. So then watching Studio Ghibli, I don't know, like something just caught my attention. I don't know if it was I think it was the story writing and then the visuals, and then just like the music just always stuck with me. So when I listen to some of the music today, I'm like, wow, it's like almost like a time capsule of a time in my life. So, man.
I feel like I'm not like crazy like on animation like I used to, or anime, I mean, but I do know that like I did grow up on like a lot of shonens like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto.
Oh, yeah, man.
And then it segued to, it was like Yu Yu Hakusho, like just the whole 9 yards, really just from Toonami. But it's like, I don't know, like certain animation styles, like Studio Ghibli, like just watching Spirited Away, like it just the aesthetic of the show or the movie, really. And of like a lot of these animation studios, like, I don't know, I'm just like a very visual person. So it's like, when something like really captures my eye, it's like it'll be as important as a storyline. And then like just having just like flashbacks to like those kind of shows, it's just really nice. Like, and it gives like more inspiration just for like more artistry. Do you feel like animations like that kind of like it's like set the path for like your music, kind of like inspiration wise?
I think a part of it. I wouldn't credit it all to anime, but I think anime has definitely played a big part in. I think just telling stories. You know what I mean? Like, I think when I watch anime, I'm like, man, these Japanese artists like really care about their work. You know what I mean? Like, even like when they like video games come from Japan and all these other crazy mediums of art, and you're like, man, these people really care. You know what I mean? So I guess just like translating it to me is just like, I want to keep that like care, I guess, you know what I mean, into my art, like, and really try to portray that. So it's not just like, oh yeah, he just made like a vibe, you know what I mean? It's like, no, he really loves doing this, you know?
Yeah. Tell me your story. Like, you're out in Sydney, Australia, or you said like you moved, just from like where you were born, and I guess you transitioned to Sydney, Australia.
So I was born in New Zealand, born and raised in New Zealand.
Okay.
Grew up with all my cousins, just like very family orientated, you know. Just doing a lot of things that I guess everyone else was doing, you know, back in those times, like early 2000s and stuff, you know. Like we were saying, watching cartoons, playing outside, and treehouse, and all of that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Like, just...
Oh, shit, y'all built the treehouse?
My grandpa did, bro. Shout out to my grandpa. For real, man.
Damn. Like, I wish I had built like a treehouse, because I watched like a show, I don't know if you're familiar with Codename Kids Next Door.
Oh, bro. Oh, the treehouse.
And like, like I was like, yo, I wish I could just live in that fucking treehouse. I forgot what the headquarters was called, but like, bro, like that show made me just love treehouses, and just was like, damn.
Bro,
I wish somebody would make a treehouse like that.
Even man. Like The Simpsons, you know how like from the outside it looks small, but then when they go inside it's like massive, and it's like, what? Like, what do you mean? It's like an actual house, but I live up there.
Oh damn! So like, how was your treehouse set up like?
Bro, to be honest, like it wasn't much, but it was literally just like a ladder and then like a kind of like a plank, but it was like the tree was like very overgrown, so it was kind of hidden in a way. But like, I guess being that young and not having internet, not having a lot of things that I guess other kids would have had at the time. You just use your imagination, you know. So I used to like think one day it will be a pirate ship, the next day it would be, I don't know, a spaceship, you know, or just a crazy treehouse from like these cartoons we're talking about, you know what I mean? But in reality, It was literally just like a plank, like literally. So.
Damn, no, I feel that though. Like honestly, like I think that's like one of the best times. Even if you look back and it's like, damn, that was just like a plank. Like I don't know, like just I don't know if like if you kind of had that childhood where like you met up with all your friends outside.
Yeah,
you know, y'all would like race in the streets and the bikes,
and
then like y'all
go
in the woods. Yeah, that was like our shit too.
Man, you
like,
know,
we used
the
to have,
coolest
like,
thing as well, bro. Yeah, bro, I was about to say that.
Oh shit! Like, what were some of your crazy stories?
Bro, we lived in a cul-de-sac, and we lived kind of like, I wouldn't say on a mountain, but it was on a hill. So we used to like every day in sunset, you would see just the craziest views and all that. So like, the sunset setting behind you, and our cul-de-sac wasn't like, it was like on a hill, so it like we were at the bottom of the hill, so we would always go all the way up the hill, race down, you know what I mean, kind of thing. And it was just like, it was so like, now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, how did I just do that so like just forever, you know what I mean? Like I literally just went down the hill, walked back up with the bike, you know. Bro, how annoying is walking up with a bike? So heavy, bro. I'm like 7 years old.
Right. I know I think about it, because like we used to have like a triple hill, and like we just bombed 3 of those hills, and I just be like,
bro,
man, we really just...
When I got into skating, I was bombing hills, bro. I wouldn't do that now. I feel like I've lost.
Like longboarding or just skateboarding?
Nah, skateboarding,
or like...
bro. And like
skateboarding. Okay.
And that came from when I started playing like Tony Hawk Underground. I was like, bro, I can do these tricks. I couldn't do any of the tricks, but I used to just love
this. Nigga said Tony Hawk Underground.
Bro, come on now, undefeated that game. I don't care what anyone says that they play Tony Hawk. They say pro skater, blah blah blah. Underground, sheesh. The soundtrack, bro.
You talking about just like the first one? What about Underground 2? Because that one was kind of... That was top tier, you know what I'm saying? They had like some of the secret levels.
Right. They know it's crazy.
Like the new world.
I didn't play Underground 2 for the fact that like we used to rent video games. Like we didn't buy them, they're too expensive. So we used to rent them for like a week or something. We rented Underground 2 and it was broke, like the disc was like scratched. So I was like, bro. Bro, so like that part of my childhood is gone, you know what I mean? It's forever, so man.
No, I feel that Tony Hawk Underground, just a series, like that series was like god tier. American Wasteland.
Ooh, yeah, bro. I played that one as well.
Were you on a Xbox or PS2? Or
I was on PS2, bro. PlayStation 4, bro.
A man of culture. I respect that.
I like that, bro. I like that.
We got true connoisseur right here. But shoot, like, yeah, I mean, like, honestly, like, it's very refreshing knowing that, like, you had, like, a childhood like that. Like, especially, I know, like, you know, it's not too much of a difference, you know, like, since, like, I'm, like, in the States and, like, you're, like, out in Australia, but it's just always interesting to know, like, the perspectives and see, like, what's, like, the similarities, I guess, despite, like, the distance.
I think that's what I love about, like, that kind of culture. I mean, I guess just, like, every culture, you know what I mean? Like, this era is, everyone has a phone now, and I guess you can connect, like, oh, yeah, I got a phone as well. I got Instagram as well. But back then, like, because we didn't know what everyone else was doing, you know what I mean? It's kind of just like, it's crazy that era was almost universal, at least to the Western societies, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know about what everyone else was doing, but yeah, man, like, all that culture, like, I did it all, you know? And, like, when I was born, I just got the end of it, so I was lucky, you know what I mean? So, I definitely cherish those moments, you know?
So, like, what was, tell me about like I guess like your parents if that's not too personal. Like what were you told me like your mom she's a nurse, right?
No, she's not, but she was studying at the time, like when I was
Okay.
but like I can't even remember, I had like 9-10 years old, and we used to just always help her with her homework and stuff, you know. It looked insane, bro. Like the what do they call it, the textbooks, bro.
Yeah.
Whoa. I'm not reading those, bro. I couldn't do university.
Yeah.
It's not for me, but I honestly shout out to those people that do it, man, because bro, so much work goes into that stuff.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to it, like everyone got like their own path, and there's difficulty in everything because like I remember there was a time when like being a musician was kind of like the stereotype was like, oh, you're a bum, oh, you don't do anything, like you don't got no kind of, well, I mean they have musical talent, but it's just like, oh, like just a bum pretty much. But like from the music production to the audio engineering to then having to promote your music and then having to wear these different hats, it can be very agonizing, just to, you were talking about how like you can't really, it's hard to really tell if you're having growth or not, because it's like if the numbers aren't there, you can feel like, oh, maybe like nothing's happening, maybe I'm not improving, but you actually could be, but the numbers are kind of like making you think that you're not really anything special.
Yeah, I feel that because I feel like the society that we live in today is very driven by numbers, which is okay, you know what I mean? Like it's not bad. I'm not gonna talk down on it.
It's cool.
Like it's cool seeing like numbers go up, even if it's just by one. But I feel like a lot of people get too stuck on numbers, you know what I mean? Like they kind of base everything on the numbers. Even like with creatives, like numbers almost become their, I guess, God, you know what I mean? I guess like that's what everything is driven by numbers. So it's like that kind of post or that kind of artwork or that kind of song made those numbers, so I'm just going to keep making that type of song. Where it's like,
it's like it could really like dictate, like I don't know, it could be like, oh wow, he only got like 5 plays, he must not be that good.
Literally, bro. So I think for me, like I really, whenever they're creators, like I love just hearing them speak about whatever they create, and I always ask them, even people that don't even like have been putting out their stuff, like say, you know how you just have all those friends that are like good at stuff, but they're like, nah, like I don't want to chase my dream or something, or I don't want to.
Yep.
Like I always like, man, why, man? You back in high school you were so talented, or back when we were kids, like, bro, you used to be a crazy skater. Like, what happened, kind of thing. So it's like, I'm just a big believer in dreams, and I just love when people just get to just feel free without having been driven by people or comments or numbers, like we said. So yeah,
I mean, it's like it's good to know the numbers to see like where you stand in terms of like trying to like see like how many people you're reaching, and really seeing that like, okay, like I'm getting this many views, just really just to see like how to move. But at the same time, it shouldn't be that if you're not getting big numbers right off the bat, that it's like nothing's working, because everyone's different, and everyone has like different approaches.
Yeah, that's true. And everyone has different, like I said, like different mediums of art. So it just, I think it's just finding the audience, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's been my approach with music now. Like, because when I put Let Me Know out, that was just like let's just see what happens, you know what I mean? And then I kind of took what didn't do too well, excuse me, I took like what didn't do too well and then just changed it for attention. And attention is doing a lot better. It's not driving me, but it's like, wow, like that worked. So when I'm looking to release the next one, I guess I'll be doing the same thing.
Yeah, and like you got some pretty solid numbers, man. You know,
I appreciate that.
I already know, like in the future, like as you keep growing, like you're gonna really get like a solid fan base. Because just I feel like I kind of base it off like how you are when you like talk to the person, and you know, right off the bat, you know, I'm catching a vibe with you, and then like I'm seeing like how personable you are.
Yeah.
And I think like, well, I kind of want to ask like, what do you want like with your fans? Like, what kind of relationship would you like to have?
Did you say with like my fan base?
Yeah, like let's say like as you keep growing your fan base, like what kind of relationship would you like to have with them? Like, do you want like them to kind of? I know like some people like you want to keep everything private, and other people like that like, you know, they want to really be open and vulnerable with their.
I think for me, like, it would just be being honest, you know, and like not showing too much of myself, but not in like a mysterious way. More so just like, I just want to tell stories, you know what I mean? Like when you watch a movie, do you really know what the director looks like? You know what I mean? Like, do you know what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like as a kid, I didn't know what the creator for Studio Ghibli looked like. I had no idea. So I just kind of want to do it like that, you know? And I guess just, I don't know, just like kind of like just tell my stories and just connect with them, because, you know, we all go through different experiences, but we all feel the same things. You know what I mean? So,
and it's kind of interesting just because like, you know, you got the directors and their art is the movie, but you as an artist, like you're the art. So it's like trying to draw that line. I can see why like a lot of artists can be a bit standoffish when certain topics are brought up, or you know, certain boundaries are crossed.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of interesting how like they move around that. But I think it's definitely possible. You know, like it's very doable. You know, because for you, it's like, I don't know, like just when you hear the music, that's when we like know about you. When we hear the interviews, that's when we know about you. It's like when you allow us to let us in and hear your story more, rather than like everything, I guess, like post and just like it's just like you just gotta listen to the art pretty much.
Yeah. When I was a little younger, when I was in high school, I really liked that like mysterious vibe, because that's when I found out about like Childish Gambino, Frank Ocean, all those kind of artists, and I watched the interviews and I'm like, why do they not say a lot? But they say a lot, you know what I mean? Like a few like they'll say one sentence and it'll be like mind blowing, and you're like, whoa, you know, or they say something that you may not get and you'll get it next week. You're like, whoa, that's what he meant. You know what I mean? So I try to do that as like a 15-year-old, 14-year-old, 16-year-old, try to just like, I think I tried too hard at it, you know? And then I think now it's just, I just want to be honest, you know what I mean? And just be, I guess, true to myself, you know? And just let people see that without seeing too much, you know?
Yeah. No, I get that. Like, because like, also my bad for the phone. But I definitely get that. I do feel like that's really carried over, because like you said, you know, like, what really kind of struck me was when you said, I kind of want, like, you know, you never see directors really like show their faces in the movies, you know, and also in like Frank Ocean interviews and Childish Gambino interviews, and even like Earl Sweatshirt interviews. They really do a lot with less, and it's like there was like one NPR interview I watched where Earl Sweatshirt, and he was talking about like his issues with the label.
Yeah.
And he was just like, like he's very like, what's the word? It's like when he's not social. He's introverted. He's very introverted.
Yeah.
But like he's very like when he talks, it's just very sound and like everything's intentional and
that's right.
Yeah, honestly, like shit like that.
Yeah, honestly, bro, that's like me as well. Like starting off with like Childish Gambino, Frank Ocean, and then I had like you said, Earl Sweatshirt as well. This is more so when I was younger. MF Doom, you know, all of these artists, even like artists from like the 50s, you know. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Just like just what they stand on music and their personal lives, like where the line is, you know, between that. So I guess just like listening to all of that and then kind of just like taking time out of myself to think like, what do I want to share, what do I not want to share. I think my music, I think in my music I want to be very vulnerable, but me as a person, you know, me outside of Elijah's Thrill, I just want to just keep that like my circle with, I guess, my family and stuff, you know what I mean? But I'm not like opposed to like sharing it, you know what I mean? If I put a story up or something, like I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not like, oh no, I need to delete it, or I made a tweet and I said something I need to delete. It's like no one's reading my tweets, bro. So, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I think just like finding that like realism, like being real myself, and be like, yeah, like at least right now where I am, you know. So, man.
So it's like kind of like drawing that line between like, you know, you like the person that you are, like, I guess, for your art, and then just like, you know, your personal life. Yeah, like your personal life, and then like for your art. And I do get it, you know, just at the same time, like you kind of want to keep things separate. Yeah. You don't want to like take yourself too serious, I guess.
That's true.
I guess like in a sense, like, you know, like you're just a regular person like everybody else. So it's like, you know, just posting, like, you know, posts here and there. It's like, I think we sometimes forget that like artists are regular people too. And then like, you know, Drake will make like a post that's like, oh wow, Drake posted that. That's cool. Yeah. Or like, oh, Josh Gambino posted that. Oh wow.
Yeah, you know, for real. Like finding that fine line, and I think that was important for me before releasing Let Me Know. I was like, what do I really want to do with this? You know, because before that I had like a 5-year break of just like not putting out music. Like, I put music out, but it wasn't like serious, you know what I mean? I just put in little beats on SoundCloud here and there, but it just wasn't, I wasn't serious about it, you know. But I still very like I love the music a lot, so I guess sitting down with myself and just like what do I want to do, or what do I want to say, or who do I want to be or be portrayed as, you know. And I just want to be a storyteller, man. Like that's what it comes down to. I just want to like tell stories that people will connect to and just be like, wow, like I went through something like that, or I connect with that, or, you know, just something like that. Just something that would heal people, you know. I want my music to just have purpose in it and not just make a vibe, you know what I mean? Like, that word gets thrown around and so much nowadays. It's like, right, like what is not a vibe? You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I guess like I definitely get that, because like the word, that's usually even my go-to word.
Oh,
like,
bro, trust me, it's my go-to word as well, bro.
Yeah, like I do get that though, because you know, I do. Like, it's always nice to just like really, instead of just, you know, having like that default word, it's also good to have like some more in-depth,
just like substance, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, you know, just like tell me how it is, you know, because like I think also too, like sometimes in this day and age of like social media, and like I feel like now everyone's essentially like went from like a personal profile to like a brand. So it's like building connection or just making friends kind of is like
building
now like
bridges,
networking.
you know what I mean? Like making that link.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And like that's cool, but like at the same time it's like it will get tiring if all your biggest intention is just to like network to the point where it's like you don't even really mean what you say or say what you mean, because there's times where like I'm talking to somebody and then like I just get like the whole network vibe, like yo, let's link up, let's build, you know, and you know, just like, oh, like I like your shit, man, let me recommend you to this person. That's just like, how's my day, or how's your day, like what you doing,
just being
like,
human,
what
you know what I mean
on?
like
yeah, you know, you can switch, you can have the switch off, you know, like it doesn't have to be like network, because the way I see it is like I rather just, if I'm gonna like, you know, of course if I'm doing business with somebody, I want to at least get to know the person too.
Yeah, that's kind of like me as well with whenever I'm doing collabs with people. I don't really do collabs, at least right now, not for any reason, but like whenever someone sends me something, I always just like I record something and then I listen to it, I'm like, oh, this sounds so bad, like I'm just gonna ruin the song, you know what I mean? So I just like I just scrap it, like, or I send it to them and they don't release it and I'm like, it must have sounded trash, you know what I mean? So I'm like, so like, but definitely like whenever I collab with people or whenever I've like spoken to other artists, like I definitely want to know their story, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to just collab with anyone, you know what I mean? Like if it doesn't make sense to my purpose, it wouldn't make sense to the bigger story, if that makes sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's, you know, just all intention and artist integrity too, you know. I think like the communication between that can fall short because, you know, maybe they might look at you like an asshole for taking too long with a feature, but for you, it's like you're very self-conscious about your art. Not I'm saying that you are, but like you want to make sure that you're putting out the best that you can put out at that time, you know. And if you feel like it's not good, you know, more than likely you don't want to send it to them. That's very true.
Like when people send me stuff, I literally just sit on it for ages, like a long time, and it's bro, I'm sorry to everyone that I've ever, you know, anyone I've done that to, but I want to kind of like know what their story is with the song and then tell my version of it, you know, with what they told me. Like it may not, like I don't want them to just be like, oh, I want you to talk about this, you know what I mean? Or I want you to stay on this topic. Like I understand if they want to go for a certain thing, but I kind of want to tell my end. I don't want it to just be like we were saying, I don't want it to just be a vibe. I want it to be like a story, you know, something pretty.
Yeah, I definitely get that. Like, yeah, it's kind of tough, you know, especially like, you know, like artistry, especially in a business where it's like, you know, you're monetizing like artistry essentially, and it's like at the end of the day, like, it's still art, you know. You take it, you put in like yourself into it, so it's really hard to just put out something, I guess, essentially like a product.
I think that's why a lot of artists get discouraged nowadays, because of the you know, like that, like what you just said, and then what we were talking about earlier about the numbers and that. It's like, you know, that these artists, whatever their story may be, they may have grown up with their own treehouse, they may have grown up with something, whether it be I don't know, like action figure or something, or they watch movies, or they painted or something. Like I just know that, I don't know, they're just more than what people, I guess, are putting out right now. You know, so I love finding those gems, like how you were saying about, you know, just going on SoundCloud and just searching for music. Like I love doing that, and it's always the best when you find a song like that hasn't blown up and you're like, this sounds amazing. Like that was me with like who would I say, like Janae Aiko. I'll say Janaya, okay. Like when she was pretty low key. And then seeing them blow up is like, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like that inner SoundCloud hunter is like, but then like you're also happy that like it like and they're really doing this thing. So man,
it's like like good that she blew up. But fuck,
like I gotta delete all the songs with the playlist. Damn.
Like, y'all know about Play Next Door now. Y'all know about Fancy Tiller. I guess I gotta share my playlist with y'all.
Right, yeah, for real. Oh man, that's honestly that feeling like when you just had like you watch a story and it's like, oh man, I found that song like a couple years ago. What are you talking about?
Because like the best feeling is like when you're playing a song in the car and they ask you what's that song.
What's that song? And you're like, don't worry about it.
It's like you the gatekeeper for all the all the hottest music.
Oh, man.
It's like the most villainous thing in the world when you don't get the song.
It really is, yeah. Like I used to always do that in high school all the time. Like a few of my friends would be like, man, what's that song? And I'd be like, bro, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Like I'll only play it from my laptop, from my phone, it's not playing from yours, you know what I mean? Like
hey man, that's setting you up for greatness right there. They're gonna be like, oh, what's that? What's this unreleased song? Yo, Elijah Thrill, what you got? Like, you playing new music on your IG story? Hold up now, what you got? And you be like, don't worry about it, fam.
Don't worry about it, yeah, for real. But man, like, I think a lot of those days are over now for me. Like when I was just stingy with my music. Like now when someone asks, I'm like, man, you haven't heard about them? But it's this person. Like, I definitely check them out. Because for me, like when I listen to albums or I watch a movie, look at the art piece, like I like to be connected to it with my own story. You know what I mean? I think that's how people connect with, I guess, artwork. You know what I mean? Because it's like, for me, when I see Polynesian art, I connect to it because, you know what I mean? Like that's my people, or that's my heritage kind of thing. So what I'm trying to say is, like, I guess when I find someone or something or a project or whatever, I like to like give them a little like description before they listen to it. I'm like, bro, put your headphones on, listen to it at this time, just close your eyes and just like, bro, just float. You know what I mean? Like I let you just I like to set it up like that. So yeah,
I like how you say just float.
Yeah, bro.
Just enjoy the experience, enjoy the ride.
Yeah,
you know?
for real. It's
gonna be a ride for real.
Let it happen. So that's funny. Yeah.
Can you give me like a walkthrough of like if you have any studio ritual? I know usually you be up in the late night. Can you kind of tell me like how that works out? Like, do you just get your green tea, turn on the blue lights, set up whatever doll you have, or like just kind of walk me through the Elijah Thrill experience?
Man, it's but to be honest, when I jump into that music mindset, you know, when I put that music hat on, I don't really have like much rituals. I just definitely like the mood lights a must. It's a must. You know, if the mood lights off, the vibes are off, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it's probably just like the mood light, and then a lot of my songs, like I would make a beat, and then I would just sing into my MacBook mic, just so I can remember the melody or something. And I'll just have like, so I have so many projects of just like rubbish recordings because it's just like on my MacBook mic, and then one day I'll find it and be like, oh, this sounds cool. I'm gonna just put lyrics to it. I set up my mic and then I just sing, like literally. So it's nothing like crazy where I'm like, oh, I get the green tea out, I have a little meditation, and you know, get a glass of water. Like, it's just, man, I just go with the flow. I would say, like, I didn't take music or that like too seriously. Like I do in terms of like when I am making it, but I'm not like on a tight schedule. I'm not in no rush to put anything out because, you know what I mean, I just want it to be authentic.
Right. I get that. I mean, yeah, sometimes like it's like sporadic moments too. You just get in the studio and some nights, you probably just sitting there. Like I remember Drake was talking about this in an interview. He's like, some nights, him and 40 are just talking, and other nights, just trying to create, and nothing really comes out of those creations. And other nights they be making like the best music of like their lives. So it's like it just depends.
Right.
I will say like that mood, like when you sent me that video, bro, like that was a vibe, bro. Because it's like I always like. I feel like people think I'm crazy when it comes to like LED lights, but there's just like certain vibes that like has to come with like LED lights. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. It's like you just can't have like, I don't know, like I feel like there's like levels to it, and it's like seeing your setup. It's like, bro, like that the wide lamp with like the blue lights, bro. Like that's a game changer, bro. Like you guys,
it's pretty nice. ASAP. Yeah, I got you, man. It's pretty nice, man. I actually, well, when I was setting it up, because the type of lamp that it is, it's like weighted, so you need to put a weight, like, you know what I mean, like the weight comes with in the box, and you screw it onto the light so it can stand up, or else it would tip over because it's coming out. Like I remember when I was setting the lamp up, I didn't even know that it was a weighted lamp. I didn't even know that was even a thing. So I'm like, man, why is it not like I'm standing it up and it's falling over? Like, what's going on? Literally, and then my dad came in. He was like, oh, there's a weight, and I was like, what? Damn, that's crazy. Like, that's how it works. So, but
technology, man, it's crazy.
Oh man, this light is crazy. I love it. I love it. Definitely upgrade from my last one. I got to show you my last one, like after this, man. But it's definitely an upgrade.
I feel that. Do you have like any other like vibes in your room that you like to have, like any posters or?
No, man. Very minimal. I think it would be on my monitor. Like I turn my Xbox on. I'm on Xbox nowadays. I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
no, it's all
man.
Good, man. Damn. It's all good. You got to make the transition sometime,
Right, change is good.
I always change. Oh damn! I wasn't expecting that, bro. Shit, this man hit me with a curveball. I was like, change is good. Sheesh. Okay.
Yeah, but I basically just turn my Xbox on and I put like YouTube, and I put something on, like whether it's Studio Ghibli, or I put an interview on, or I put just something that's just like there, that's like visual. So when I'm making music, I'm like, wow, like I remember that part of the movie. You know what I mean? Or something like that. So, but no, nothing. Maybe like plants and stuff, but nothing else, man. It's pretty minimal. Going back to the treehouse mindset, very minimal, but a lot of substance, man.
A huge imagination comes with that too.
Right, definitely. So in my mind, I have like posters on my wall. I got like glow in the dark, friggin' ceiling. No, I'm just playing.
No, I mean, shoot, like imagination can like take you places, bro. I'm still hurt that you said, changes for the good for the Xbox, but I'm not even gonna cap, man. Xbox Online.
The only reason why I did it, bro, is because all my friends on it. Like earlier, before I got it, I literally bought a PS4. I had it for one day and took it back the next day, bro. That's bro. And I look back at it now, I'm like, I shouldn't have done that, because all the crazy games on PS. Plus, I grew up on PS. You know what I mean? It's like, what did I do that for?
No, but for real, like that was my next point. Like Xbox is unmatched in terms of like online play, because literally like everybody like you grew up with, most times like online play was on the Xbox. Like all the crazy stories, all the shit with like little kids fucking talking shit about your parents, like saying like fuck your mom, or like or like you're fucking piece of shit, like just talking all that crazy shit on like fucking Xbox.
I'm caught in
yeah, it's just like you know, like it was just like the craziest thing that people getting banned from like Xbox
Yeah,
lobbies and like
yeah.
I was never a part of that for real, but like I would just like go to my friend's house and like,
It
we'd
was
be on
crazy because
Xbox.
I was a part of it, but it wasn't like I had my own setup in my room and whatnot. I had to play in the living room. I didn't have a
Yeah,
mic or anything, so I had to like turn the TV down like to one, so no one else can hear all these people like cussing and stuff.
yeah, because like they were just like some recklessness, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Brutal,
you
bro.
know,
Brutal.
it was a crazy time, still a crazy
Yeah,
time
I
for
mean it
real.
gets crazier now. Like anytime whenever I play the game, like probably like a few years ago or like last year or whatnot, like I'll be playing and if someone says
Yeah,
something crazy, I'm like, whoa, man, these kids just get better at this. Like what? I've never heard of that one before. You know what I mean?
it's like, damn, I need to take some notes from you. You know how it is for real. Hold on, let me
Let me
write
write
that
that
down,
down for
boy.
next time. Yeah, for real. But
Yeah, it's kind of like you know with Apple, you know, like everyone likes using the iPhone, even though like Samsung be having some better phones, but most likely I'm gonna go with the Apple because I like iMessage,
iMessage
shit
for
like
me,
that.
I just like
Yeah,
the minimal aesthetic. Like I, I'm very
yeah.
minimal. Like my wall paper is white right now. I don't know. It just looks clean. Like it just looks
Yeah, like
clean.
it's super clean, and like when you
Yeah,
take pictures, like it translates so much better on like IG and Snapchat and all those social media platforms
yeah,
compared to like an Android where you still get like some I don't know. It just looks weird and
yeah.
not clean.
Like for me, like I literally try to take the aesthetic like the next level. I turned my whole phone language to Japanese. I tried it and I was like, I can't understand nothing, bro. I'm putting it back to English, but I couldn't. I couldn't, bro.
Bro,
I couldn't.
what?
I tried. And I was like, this is not it.
Yo, that was actually pretty cool because like I don't know, like Japanese like language. I think I'm looking at my Digimon poster. I can't even tell if that's Japanese or if that's like some or if that's Korean or what. Like the subtitles for
Yeah,
Digimon,
yeah, yeah,
but like it just looks super clean,
yeah, yeah,
you know. So I totally get that, like the aesthetic parts.
yeah. Kind of like again, like when I was younger, it was all about the aesthetic. I think me now, like I don't look too much on the aesthetic, but more so on the substance. Kind of like what we're talking about, you know. Like a lot of the time
Yeah,
when I was younger, it was like trying to play a part that I wasn't, you know, and trying too hard for something that I wasn't. And then I guess after taking a break on music, like you know, releasing stuff, and then just like thinking like, what do I really want to do, you know? And then, like I said, just like having a substance in it, you know. So still having the aesthetic, still being a vibe, but having purpose behind it, you know.
yeah, and I totally get that. You know, just combining both of them at the same time, and it's totally doable.
Mm.
It's completely doable. You know, and you're definitely doing that for sure. Like, I really love the aesthetics of your IG,
I appreciate that, bro.
SoundCloud.
Yeah,
You know, just I'm loving the way you're moving, bro. Like, you know, it's like this interview I was really like waiting for because like I didn't know what to expect to be honest. Because like for one, you know, you stay in Sydney,
yeah. I didn't think you were gonna understand my
and
accent, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
no, it's good. Like I was gonna say like I got family from like Nigeria, and you know they stay in like other parts of
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
you know some stay in like Ireland, and
Oh, for
some stay
real.
in like China.
That's mad.
Yeah, so it's just like having to like I guess like understand like some thick
Yeah.
accents. Even for me, like you know I'm having to slow down for people because like the way I talk is kind of weird sometimes. Because like when my parents talk, kind of like came to me, and it's like I'm talking to other people. It's kind of like a weird way of me talking. So it's kind of like just accommodating for like how different people talk. You know, it's
Yeah.
just you know you just get used to it. And then also like with IG now,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's easy to just talk
That
to
is
someone
true.
across the world.
That is true. Like you hear so many different like UK. I mean, US is just like stock standard. Like you see it on all the movies. You know what I mean? You grow up on. You know, you grow up hearing it. So
Yeah,
when you hear it, you know everyone understands it.
honestly, like it's just like it's I guess the American mentality. You know, you got to speak some English. You feel me? Talk like an American. But yeah, it's cool, man. Like, you're a cool dude, bro. Like,
I
really like fuck with you every more.
Man, I was so excited for this podcast, you know, like definitely, like, because I've never done it before, and plus because your platform, like, you guys reached out to me. Even I think before Let Me Know, I think Lorenzo hit me up before Let Me Know. I'm pretty sure, and we were just talking and stuff. Definitely before Let Me Know, and yeah. So just, you know, it being the first of you guys, it's like, it's perfect. You know, it's not just some random people that were like, oh, we want to interview you. It's like, no, we want to know more about you now. You know, so it's cool, man, for real.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're just trying to get, like, you know, what we feel are, like, I guess the best artists from, like, the music and just, like, the story.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to ask, like, before we, like, end it, like, what's, like, your goal and, like, what's, like, I guess your mission now? For real.
My mission would just be kind of like what I said, just to heal people, you know, and to them to just feel like not alone, because when I was like 15, 14, when I was listening to Childish Gambino, I was listening to Because the Internet, watching all his interviews and just seeing that character that he was playing, and I mean, I'm literally about to say the most popular song on the album, you know, 2005. You know, that song was like, you know, I'll be right by your side, you know what I mean, till 2005. And I was like, for me at the time, like, feeling like I was in a transitional stage of trying to figure out who I was, you know. I really felt alone, especially like at that time when I was 14, 15, I would have just moved to Australia. So
yeah,
everything was new, the accent was new. People tease my accent because it's different. Like, I don't know if you would, you probably wouldn't get it, but like, it's just different. Like, Australian, New Zealand accent is different, but it may sound the same to everyone else. But like, just all of that, just feeling like different in the school, and it being my first, like, I've never been to a private school before. I went to a private school here. I grew up public school and all that, so I guess just like feeling a bit odd, you know, being the only Polynesian as well. Everyone else is just like Australian, like, yeah, mate, like, type thing, you know what I mean? So it just felt very different for me. So listening like to these songs and like feeling like, nah, someone understands me. Whether, like, I'm not gonna say Childish Gambino understood me, you know what I mean? But like, whatever I created in my mind when I listen to these songs, like, man, like, I am, like, I'm not alone. You know, so trying to not replicate it, but trying to have that same thing where I can make music where someone is touched, you know, just like a lot of other artists would say, like, even if it's just one person, you know, I think that's the job done for me, you know. So seeing more than one person is, you know, very humbling, and I'm just very grateful, man. Like, honestly, having you on here, me being on here, right, we just switch roles for, right.
Yo, this is Elijah Thrill show right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. I'm the guest.
The time's catching up for me, but
for real, going from music to hosting now. We like to see it, bro.
Man, one day, whenever I get interesting at talking, but until then,
no, man. I'm just saying, bro. Like, I say, like, you got a pretty good voice for podcasting, for real.
For real?
It's very smooth. Yeah, it's very smooth, and it's just like, also with the accent too, you know. It's, like, if you come to the States, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm telling you, like, all the shorties are gonna eat that. Like, that's no cap.
What?
There's no. I'm telling you, bro. Like, it sounds crazy, but like in the States here, like, if there's any sign of you like being from like a different country, like shorties like eat it up like crazy.
Oh, for real? That's
Like,
crazy.
yes,
That's crazy.
I'm telling you, bro.
It'll,
Like I
bro,
know, like
it'll
you said,
probably be
like
the
you're
same.
facing
Like,
that
it'll
kind of.
probably be the same if you came here. Like,
Oh yeah, like they be loving
I'm
Americans.
flipping it, bro. I'm flipping it back on you.
Yeah, they be loving Americans.
Bro, I think they do, bro. They'll hear your accent. They'll be like, what? That's crazy. So, man.
I feel that. That's so funny.
Bro, what did we just talk about the last 2 minutes, bro?
We just kind of went on like a lot of tangents, and here we are talking about how like there's the different language barriers, dialect barriers.
Yeah. But man, I honestly like kind of like what I just said, and I'm just super humble. You know, I'm humbled by this, you know, experience and just being on here. It's like, man, super grateful. I would say right now, perfect way to end my week as well. To be honest, so next week's gonna be even better.
Oh man, you know it's the 1107 podcast. You know we gotta end the week with Elijah Thrill. You know, yeah, it was good to have you on here, bro. Right. But yeah, man, 1107, a conversation with Elijah Thrill. Y'all go check out his new single, Attention. It's a hot one. It's not just a vibe. It's a night ride experience. You know what I'm saying? Like sit back, lean your seat back, get on the passenger seat. You know what I'm saying? Get in the back seats. You know what I'm saying? Give somebody the aux and just, you know, enjoy the ride.
Hey, definitely.
All right, then we're out.